Governor Tim Walz defends his military record in his first solo campaign event since being named Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate. And an emergency declaration is approved for Puerto Rico as Tropical Storm Ernesto churns through the Caribbean. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Wednesday, August 14th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. First, a look at the campaign trail as we're now 83 days away from Election Day. You can expect to see former President Donald Trump holding a rally in North Carolina today with a focus on the economy. And Friday, that is also where Vice President Kamala Harris will be announcing her economic campaign platform. Harris's vice presidential pick, Tim Walz, held his first solo rally on Tuesday in Los Angeles, addressing his 24-year military record, which has become one of the top controversies for the Democratic ticket. Republican vice presidential pick J.D. Vance has accused Walz of stolen valor, criticizing him over remarks he made in 2018, where Walz said he carried weapons in war when he never went to combat. The Harris campaign clarified that Walz had misspoke. Walz defending his military record during Tuesday's campaign event.
These guys are even attacking me for my record of service. And I just want to say, I'm proud to serve my country, and I always will be. And I firmly believe you should never denigrate another person's service record. To anyone brave enough to put on that uniform for our great country, including my opponent, I just have a few simple words. Thank you for your service and sacrifice.
Walz will be taking part in a 5-state fundraising blitz over the next several days, while Vance will be in Michigan today and Pennsylvania tomorrow. The campaign trail is now red hot on both sides, with stops marked all over the map, both tickets splitting their presidential and vice presidential picks for more solo appearances to cover more ground. One of the biggest labor unions in the country is suing former President Donald Trump and tech billionaire Elon Musk. The United Auto Workers Union says Trump and Musk illegally attempted to threaten and intimidate workers who stand up for themselves by engaging in protected, concerted activity such as strikes. The UAW says during a 2-hour interview on X on Monday, Trump and Musk advocated for firing workers who strike. Striking is a protected activity under the National Labor Relations Act, and workers cannot legally be fired for it. Recently, the UAW has been trying to organize Tesla employees, and last week it endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential race. This morning, there's more uncertainty in next steps in the Middle East. U.S. officials are still anticipating an attack by Iran and its proxy groups as soon as this week. In the face of potential escalation and a prolonged conflict, the U.S. has announced a $20 billion arms sale to Israel. Meanwhile, Hamas's new leader says it won't be attending Thursday's planned meeting in Qatar for ongoing ceasefire talks. President Joe Biden and European leaders have been pushing both sides to return to the negotiating table as Iran has re-upped its threats to attack Israel. President Biden told reporters Tuesday a ceasefire deal could prevent a broader war from breaking out in the Middle East. But the lack of Hamas's involvement signals any compromise is still far off. The arms sale to Israel the Biden administration approved on Tuesday will include 50 fighter jets, air-to-air missiles, tank ammunition, and tactical vehicles. The sale, however, isn't expected to make an immediate difference in the current conflict. It's unlikely these weapons will be delivered until 2026 at the earliest. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kushida says he will not run for a second term to lead the long-ruling Liberal Democratic Party. Instead, he will step down next month after scandal, public dissatisfaction, and rising living costs have riddled his 3-year term. In recent months, the LDP has been in the middle of one of Japan's biggest political scandals in decades. Two of the most influential factions in the LDP are accused of failing to properly declare their income and expenditures and rerouting political funds to lawmakers as kickbacks. Kushida's decision comes just a month before LDP elections are slated for some point in September. Puerto Rico is now under a state of emergency as Tropical Storm Ernesto churns its way, expected to become a hurricane at some point this morning, unleashing flooding rainfall and heavy winds that could be a massive blow to the island's struggling power infrastructure. The National Hurricane Center says this storm could become a major hurricane in a couple of days. This comes only days after Debbie finished its deadly and destructive trek along the United States East Coast. Ernesto is the fifth named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season. Finally this morning, the next generation of the phone wars is here, and it's all about artificial intelligence. On Tuesday, Google unveiled its latest lineup of Pixel phones at its annual showcase held a bit earlier than usual this year, as it looks to be one step ahead of Apple when it comes to AI. While we wait for Apple to reveal its next generation iPhones in September, Google showcased its Pixel 9 lineup, 4 new phones complete with AI capabilities using its Gemini technology. New AI functions include a voice conversation feature and a magic editor that can add a person to a photo who wasn't in the original. Google's new phones are available now to pre-order. 2 are being released on August 22nd and the other 2 on September 4th, with the least expensive Pixel costing $800 and the most expensive selling for $1,800. These are your top stories for this Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.